From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, January 14th, 2016. Silver is trading at $14.07 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,092 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $434. Antiwar.com reports a Syrian rebel coalition that has already repeatedly indicated they probably are not going to attend the January 25th UN peace talks on Wednesday added a new demand, including the full implementation of humanitarian articles in the latest UN resolution. The resolution's articles are mostly about the need to allow aid access into sieged towns on all sides and to cease all fighting in populated areas. The rebels insisted that they also expect to have other goodwill steps from the government, including the mass release of rebel prisoners. The rebels added in a statement, "We do not accept any compromise." The rebels had previously also indicated they expected a full end to Russian airstrikes and an end to Syria's government contesting certain territory. The Syrian government has also made attending the talks conditional on the UN providing them with a full list of invited rebel groups to ensure that none are terrorists. So far, such a list has not been offered because they simply haven't agreed on who can attend, and it may not matter since ultimately neither side might end up sending any delegates anyhow. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the city of Salem, Massachusetts plans to erect a monument near the site where historians have recently determined that 19 suspected witches were hung more than 300 years ago, commemorating an event that has come to define the city. A team of academics said earlier this week they had concluded that the 19 people condemned to death in the Salem witch trials were executed near a place known as Proctor's Lodge. The finding was the culmination of a 5-year project that involved an extensive review of historical documents and the use of radar and computer imaging technology. Today, Proctor's Lodge is an unassuming place overlooking a drugstore parking lot. Salem Mayor Kim Driscoll said on Wednesday that it was important for the city to mark the site of the hangings. She said, "I would say the witch trials were a very notorious part of our history, a very dark part. That dark part of Salem's history is a major draw for tourists to the seaside city, with a historic downtown that features the Salem Witch Museum and a Salem Witch Trials Memorial, as well as occult shops alongside upscale boutiques. The site of the hangings has long been presumed to be in the area of Gallows Hill Park, just west of downtown. Proctor's Lodge is about a quarter mile outside of that park." Emerson Baker, the Salem University professor who led the research team, said the victims were likely hung from tree branches rather than gallows. When her plush and comfy life suddenly and unexpectedly fell apart, Brooke and her dog Cloud set out to defy the odds. If this is a man's world, as they say, living on the streets is no place for a young woman. One day she awoke in the redwood forest and realized she had become a hobo, and would ultimately come to know exactly what it means to survive. How to Be a Hobo by Brooke Willett is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Antiwar.com reports 10 U.S. Navy sailors and a pair of riverine boats were returned to U.S. custody by the Iranian government on Wednesday after Tuesday's incident in which the boats strayed into Iranian waters around the Farsi Islands, and reportedly one of them even ran aground on the island. The sailors cited mechanical problems for the incident, and on Iranian television, one of them was shown to have apologized for the mistake of crossing into Iranian waters. Obama administration officials are insisting that the apology is not a formal apology from the United States government. Iran made clear that they were taking the sailors' word for it, that the incident was unintentional, and the only reason they were kept overnight was because it happened too late on Tuesday for them to be returned at night. Iranian officials on Wednesday were quick to point out that what happened and the chain of events that followed was in line with how any two countries might resolve such an issue, and indeed it seems to provide a hopeful sign that despite continued condemnation from hawks, U.S. rapprochement with Iran is moving forward. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.